Hello students. So recently we had discussed about the Gauss's theorem and we also applied it to solve two numericals and to understand how it can be applied in solving the different types of numericals. Now we will discuss here the application of Gauss's law. Basically in syllabus for class 12 CBSE board we have got three types of applications of Gauss's law. First, to identify the field due to a straight line charge, uniformly charged wire. Secondly, to identify the field due to an infinite plane sheet of charge. And thirdly, to identify the field at a point due to a spherical shell which is uniformly charged. So firstly, we are discussing here the electric field due to a uniformly charged infinitely long conducting wire. Now, for the application of Gauss's theorem, the first thing we need is the Gaussian surface. What is Gaussian surface actually? We just discussed that Gaussian law or Gauss's law is applicable for a charge which is enclosed within a surface. So that enclosing surface is referred as the Gaussian surface. The surface which encloses the given charge. Sometimes the charge cannot be enclosed, but before we apply the Gauss's law, we consider any surface which encloses that given charge which is in our consideration. Here we will discuss on the basis of the assumptions of the you can say continuous surfaces or the uniform surfaces which are enclosing the given charge. Symmetrical surfaces we are discussing. So this is a uniformly charged wire of length L which has got a charge Q distributed uniformly over the surface. So this is the charge Q. By default we consider the positive charge to be distributed. So this is charge Q which is uniformly distributed over the surface. Now when a charge is uniformly spread over a surface, so it is called as uniform charge distribution over a length or simply linear charge distribution. Linear charge distribution. Here we come across a term which we call linear charge density. What is that? Linear charge density actually refers to the charge per unit length. Remember, this is observed when the charge is uniformly distributed over the surface, over the length. Then only we count for linear charge density, and that is the charge per unit length. So this is considered to be lambda, the line charge density or the linear charge density, which is over a length L. So total charge enclosed, that should be Q, and this will be lambda into L. Now where the charge Q is enclosed or how it is enclosed. So remember that for a linear surface, for a line charge, for a linear surface, the symmetrical surface we can consider will be in the shape of a cylinder. A line charge, a length can be considered to be symmetrically enclosed by a right circular cylinder with that charge, that linear charge as its axis. Now secondly, when we consider this cylinder, so what should be its radius, base radius? So this is the point P where we have to find the net field intensity due to this charge. This is at a distance R from the line charge density or the line charge. So this R will be as the radius of the cylinder. So this will work as a radius of the cylinder. So this cylinder that encloses the given linear charge of density lambda, total charge Q, length we have taken to be L. So at point P, if we have to identify the field, so this is a cylinder that encloses this charge. So this entire cylinder can be divided into three segments. Say this is a cylinder, so this is its curved surface, one base and the second base. Okay, this is a cylinder, the curved surface of the cylinder, one base and the second base. So this is one base, this is other base, and this is the curved surface. So this is the first surface area, this is the second surface, and this is the third surface. Now see, the field will be away from the charge. पॉजिटिव चार्ज है, हम पहले भी पढ़ चुके हैं कि जो फील्ड होती है वो पॉजिटिव चार्ज से आउटवर्ड एक्ट करती है. तो इस चार्ज से फील्ड आउटवर्ड जाएगी इन ऑल द पॉसिबल डायरेक्शंस. सो पॉइंट P पर भी फील्ड की डायरेक्शन आउटवर्ड होगी, इट इज आउटवर्ड. अब ये फील्ड, और अगर हम ये वाला एरिया काउंट करते हैं तो फील्ड तो इस डायरेक्शन में है, दिस इज द डायरेक्शन ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड, एंड एरिया इज इन दिस डायरेक्शन. So we find that the angle between them is 90 degree. So for the first surface we see that field is perpendicular to area element. Again remember that field is radially outward but the area is normally outward to this base. So ये area आपके पास है, ये field आपके पास है, they are mutually perpendicular. And a similar condition arises in section 3 also. The area is in this direction and the field still is in this direction. तो यहाँ पर भी आपके पास एंगल कितना आता है, 90 डिग्री. So here and here in the first region as well as in the third region electric field is perpendicular to the area vector. But along the curved surface if we discuss, so curved surface पर आप देखेंगे field normally outward है और curved surface का area vector भी normally outward होगा at point P. अगर हम ये एरिया ds लेकर चलते हैं तो ये एरिया वेक्टर कैप n से हम शो कर रहे हैं यूनिट वेक्टर. सो कैप n इज पैरेलल टू वेक्टर e, बोथ आर नॉर्मली आउटवर्ड्स. सो अगर दोनों नॉर्मली आउटवर्ड हैं तो वेक्टर e बिकम्स पैरेलल टू वेक्टर ds, दैट इज एरिया एंड फील्ड आर पैरेलल टू ईच अदर. इन तीनों कंडीशंस को ध्यान में रखते हुए हमने गॉसेस थ्योरम को अप्लाई करना है. कैसे? Gauss's theorem says that electric flux through a surface, अगर हमारी सरफेस ये सिलेंडर है तो इस पूरे सिलेंडर से जितना फ्लक्स बाहर निकलेगा that flux will be Q upon epsilon naught. Remember, recall the definition of Gauss's theorem. Electric flux is 1 upon epsilon naught times the charge enclosed by that surface. So Q upon epsilon naught. अब phi को हम ले सकते हैं E dot ds for the whole surface. अब पूरी सरफेस पर हमने इसको इंटीग्रेट करना है, सो हम इसको 3 रीजन्स में डिवाइड कर सकते हैं. सो इंटीग्रेशन इज डिवाइडेड अलोंग 3 सेक्शंस, अलोंग फर्स्ट रीजन, अलोंग सेकंड रीजन एंड अलोंग थर्ड रीजन. अब फर्स्ट रीजन की कंडीशन हमने क्या देखी, E डॉट ds हमने निकालना है और हमने फाइंड आउट किया कि पहले रीजन में E और ds दोनों परपेंडिकुलर है. So E dot ds can be taken as E ds cos 90. Recall that vector A dot vector B equals to A B cos theta. So अगर हम इस रूल को अप्लाई करते हैं तो E dot ds comes out to be E into ds cos 90 डिग्री प्लस अगर हम सेकेंड रीजन की बात करते हैं तो हमने देखा E और ds वर पैरेलल टू ईच अदर. पैरेलल का मतलब है इनके बीच में एंगल होगा 0 डिग्री. So this comes out to be E ds cos 0 degree. And in the third reason again we had got E and ds perpendicular to each other. So ये आपके पास आ गया E ds cos 90. अब आपको पता है कि cos 90 की वैल्यू होती है 0 और cos 0 की वैल्यू होती है 1. So cos 90 0 तो पूरी टर्म आपकी 0 हो गई. यहाँ भी cos 90 0 तो ये टर्म भी पूरी आपके पास 0 हो जाती है. So this becomes simply integration of E ds equals to Q upon epsilon naught. Now, for a given charge, the field will be constant all around. क्योंकि यूनिफॉर्मली चार्ज वायर है तो फील्ड भी यूनिफॉर्म ही होगी. अगर फील्ड यूनिफॉर्म है तो मतलब E क्या हो गया आपके पास, कांस्टेंट. अगर E कांस्टेंट है तो इट इज टेकन आउट ऑफ इंटीग्रेशन साइन. तो क्या बचा हमारे पास, इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ ds फॉर द सेकेंड सरफेस दैट इक्वल्स टू Q अपॉन एप्सिलॉन नॉट. अब सेकंड सरफेस क्या था हमारे पास, सेकंड सरफेस था सिलेंडर का कर्व्ड सरफेस. जब हम सिलेंडर के कर्व्ड सरफेस की बात करते हैं तो कर्व्ड सरफेस एरिया ऑफ सिलेंडर इज 2 pi RL. दिस इज द फॉर्मूला. सो कर्व्ड सरफेस एरिया ऑफ सिलेंडर कम्स आउट टू बी 2 pi RL इनटू E इज इक्वल टू Q कितना था हमारे पास, लैम्डा L place it here. So lambda L upon epsilon naught. L from both sides is cancelled. So E comes out to be lambda upon 2 pi epsilon naught R. So this shows that the electric field due to this uniformly charged wire is inversely proportional to the distance at which the field is evaluated. जैसे जैसे हम वायर से दूर जाएंगे, the field will go on decreasing. So this is the first application of Gauss's theorem. The other applications are just to come forward. Thank you.